All right, welcome to this YouTube video. And on this video, we are going to be looking at Lagrange multiplier. Lagrange multiplier. So now, basically, we have this question. Now we have f of x y is equal to 3x plus y, subject to the constraint x squared plus y squared is equal to 10. Find the maximum and minimum point. Find the maximum and minimum point, right? But if you are given a question, you'll probably just have to find only the maximum, only the minimum, right? But for the sake of killing two birds with one stone, we're going to be finding the maximum and minimum point in this question. Now, basically, what we are going to do is we're going to get um, four equations, right? The first one and the second one are already given, right? So f of xy, so let me okay. So f of xy is equal to 3x plus y. That's our first equation. Then we're going to say g of xy, right, is equal to x squared plus y squared equals to 10. Right? That's this equation here. Now, the fourth one, the third one is going to be the derivative of f of x is equal to the derivative of g with respect to x times lambda. Then we do the same thing for y, which is going to be the fourth equation, right, is equal to g of y times lambda. Now, basically, what is f of x? That is finding the derivative of f of xy with respect to x. Now, if we differentiate that with respect to x, f of x, then we're going to get just 3, right? Then f of y will be equal to 1, right? Then g of x will be equal to 2x, then g of y will be equal to 2y. So now that we have all this out of the way, we can just apply our formula and then solve. We're going to be making x the subject of the relation. So f of x will be 3 is equal to g of x, which is 2x times lambda, right? So then we'll be having, remember, we're making x subject of the formula. That means 3 over 2 lambda is equal to x, right? Then we'll do the same thing for y, where we're going to be having 1 is equal to 2y times lambda. Make y subject of the formula. We have 1 over 2 lambda is equal to y. So we have this. This is our values for x and y. I'm just going to write it up here so that we can have enough space. That's 3 over 2 lambda. And then our y is equal to 1 over 2 lambda. Now, this constraint that we have here, this g of x, we're going to plug in our value, right? Because that's the only value that has a constant 10, right? So that we can get the value for x and y by using that constraint, right? So we're going to do x squared, and x is 3 over 2 lambda, right? Let me just clean this so we have enough space. Sorry. Okay. All right. All right. So now we have x squared plus y squared is equal to 10. Now we're going to be plugging in values for x and y. So x is what? 3 over 2 lambda squared plus y, which is 1 over 2 lambda squared, is equal to 10. Now, squaring this, we have 9 over 4 lambda squared plus 1 over 4 lambda squared is equal to 10. Now, we're going to multiply through by 4 lambda squared so that we can eliminate the denominator. We have 4 lambda squared times 9 over 4 lambda squared plus 4 lambda squared times 1 over 4 lambda squared equal to 4 lambda squared times 10. So this will cancel this will cancel this. We have 9 plus 1 is equal to 40 lambda squared. So 10 is equal to 40 lambda squared. Then we'll make lambda the subject of the formula. So we have lambda squared is equal to 10 over 40. Then we have lambda squared is equal to 1 over 4. Then we take the square root of both sides. That will be plus or minus root 1 over 4. So we have lambda, so we cancel square root. So lambda is equal to plus or minus 1 over 2. Now lambda is equal to plus or minus 1 over 2. Now remember, we're looking for x and y. Those are the values that we need to find the maximum and minimum point, right? Now for x and y, x is 3 over 2 lambda. So x, so we're going to say when lambda is equal to 1 over 2, taking the positive side first, then x is equal to 3 over 2 into bracket 1 over 2, which is going to give us 3 over 1, which is equal to 3. Then y is equal to y is equal to 1 over 2 lambda, which is 1 over 2 times 1 over 2, which is equal to 1 over 1, which is equal to 1. So that means when lambda is equal to 1 over 2, then x comma y is equal to 3 comma 1. That's our first point. Let me rub off this other side. So we can find x and y when lambda is equal to negative 1 over 2. Right. So now we're going to see when lambda is equal to minus 1 over 2, then x equals to 3 over 2 multiplied by minus 1 over 2, which is equal to 3 over minus 1 equals to minus 3. Then y is equal to 1 over 2 times minus 1 over 2, which equals to 1 over 1 minus 1, which equals to minus 1. So that means um, when lambda is minus 1 over 2, x comma y is equal to minus 3 comma minus 1. So now that we have this point, we have to find, is it this point that is maximum, or is it this point that is maximum, and which of them is going to be our minimum point. Now how do we do that? We do that by plugging it into f of x comma y, right, equals to 3x plus y. So the values that will give us the maximum value will be our maximum point, and the values that will give us the minimum value will be our minimum point. Now when we plug in for f when x is 3 comma 1, what do we get? We get 3 plus 1 equals to 9 plus 1 equals to 10, right? And then we plug in for the second value minus 3 1 minus 3 and minus 1, which is equal to 3 minus 3, right? um then we have close bracket, then we have plus minus 1, sorry, we have minus 1, then we have minus 9 is equal to no minus 6. So we have minus 9 minus 1 equals minus 10. Now you can see that this 10 is greater than minus 10. So which means that 3 and 1 is the value that gives us the maximum value, while minus 3 and minus 1 gives us the minimum value. So now for this question, say find the maximum point. So the maximum point is when x comma y is equal to 3 comma 1. This is our max. Then our minimum point is when it is equal to minus 3 minus 1. This is our mean. Now, I know you might be thinking that, okay, because it is positive, that's why it gives us the maximum, but it's not always the case. It's not always the case, right? It depends on what you have as f of x equals to 3x plus y. So always check which of them. So that is for that question, and then we'll take one more question. Now, this question is the type that was in the past questions a lot. Now it says given that h of xy is equal to f of xy plus tg of xy, for what value of t with g of xy equals to 3x plus 4y, have minimum value on the circle f of xy is equal to x squared plus y squared minus 1 is equal to 0. Now one thing that I want you to understand is that for this particular values, for this particular question to be an extremum, then it means that h of xy is equal to 0 basically. So we have 0 is equal to f of xy plus t of gxy, right? And we can write that as 0 is equal to the derivative of f plus t, the derivative of g with respect to the individual variables. And when we write this, we're going to be having the f is equal to minus t the g, right? Now, what is the f? The f now is basically your derivatives, right? Your individual derivatives of f. Now, f of xy is equal to x squared plus y squared minus 1. Now, our df is going to be, we're going to have the f of x, right? F of x, which is going to be 2x, and then f of y, which is going to be 2y. That means our df will be equal to 2x, comma 2y. Now let's do the same thing for the g. So the g is going to be equal to, remember, g x of y is equal to 3x plus 4y. So our dg now is going to be 3 comma 4. How did we come about that? When we take g of x is equal to 3 and g of y is equal to 4, right? When we take the derivatives with respect to y and respect to x, we get 4 and 3 respectively. So we have the g is 3 over 4. So now we're going to rewrite this. So we're going to have 2x comma 2y is equal to minus t, then we have 3 comma 4. This is what we have, and we can write this as 2x comma 2y is equal to minus 3t comma minus 4c. So we have this basically. So that means 2x here is equal to minus 3t here, and 2y is equal to minus 4t, right? So we're going to say 2x is equal to minus 3t, and then x is equal to minus 3t over 2. Then do the same thing for y. 2y is equal to minus 4t, right? And then y is equal to minus 2t. So now that we have that out of the way, we can just plug in our y and solve. So I'm going to put x here. X is equal to minus 3t over 2. Y is equal to minus 2t. So we have this basically. So I'm going to clean this off. So this is basically what we need. We just need those values. So now that we have this, we can just, all right. So now we can solve. We have what x is and what y is. So now how do we solve this? Right? But basically we're looking for t. Remember, just like the first example that we did, when we have x and y, we put it back in the constraint, right? And the constraint is the one that has a constant. Like we check, this is the one that has a constant. We have f x of y is equal to x squared plus y squared minus 1 equals to 0. So we're going to plug in x here. That will be minus 3t over 2 squared plus minus 2t squared minus 1 equals to 0. So here we're squaring this. We have 9t squared over 4 plus 4t squared minus 1 is equal to 0. We multiply everything by 4 so that we can have no denominator. We have 4 times 9t squared over 4 plus 4 times 4t squared minus 4 times 1 equals to 0 times 4. So this 4 cancels this 4. So we have 9t squared plus 16t squared minus 4 is equal to 0. So here we have 25t squared minus 4 is equal to 0. And then we can take this 4 to the other side. So we have 25t squared is equal to 4. So now we can make t solve of the formula. So we have t squared equals to 4 over 25. So then we have t is equal to the square root of 4 over 25. We have plus or minus. We have t is equal to plus or minus 2 over 5. So now we have two values for t. But the question is asking us to find the minimum value on the circle. We already got the value for t. So now which one is going to be the minimum? Is it when t is equal to 2 over 5 or when t is equal to minus 2 over 5? Let's see how we compute that. Now, how do we do this? We do this by putting it back into g of x, y, g of x, y, right? We put it back here. So we have g of xy equal to 3x plus 4y. Now we're going to put the value of x, which is minus 3. We have that. We have 3, then we have minus 3t over 2 plus 4, we have minus 2t. So here we have minus 9t over 2, then we have minus 8t over 1, and then when we combine this, we have minus 9t minus 16t, which is equal to minus 25t over 2. So now we're going to say, because now we have t, right? We need to find the maximum value. We already know the values of t. So we're going to say when t is equal to 2 over 5. Let's put the values. Then we have minus 25 multiplied by 2 over 5 over 2. 5 here 1, 5 here 5. So that's minus 5 times 2 minus 10 over 2. That gives us minus 5. So when t is 2 over 5, the value that we got is what? Minus 5. Now we're going to say when t is equal to minus 2 over 5, that will be minus 25 over minus 2 over 5 over 2, so that gives us 10 over 2 is equal to 5. Now when t is minus 2 over 5, we get 5. Which one is the higher value? My 5 is the higher value, right? 5 minus 5 is the lower value. So that means this is our minimum value, and then this is our maximum value. But the question is asking us that what value of t will give the minimum? So what value of t give us the minimum, which is minus 5? That's 2 over 5. So that means the answer to this question is t is equal to 2 over 5. And then if they ask you what value of t will give the maximum value, then you know your answer is going to be minus 2 over 5. Very, very simple stuff. That's all for Lagrange multipliers.